Alrighty, so your girl Crystalline Kerosene, your girl who swirls, she's straight out of more fake outrage. She is upset with the idea of the movie Straight Outta Compton, which is based off the rap group N.W.A. Is it has a movie and she's upset with the fact that a lot of black women, I guess black people in general, are going to support it and go watch it. And she gives her fake outrages reasons why she thinks the movie should not be seen and there should be a boycott. I guess we're gonna speak about that for a minute.
This is Jeff. You
Okay.
know, the money, who's pushing, the record label, who's got the money, who's got the people putting the music out. You can blame it on the bands and the rappers, but who's ultimately behind it and pushing it out there? You know what I mean?
Okay, I get this. I get this argument all the time that it's the rich white executives that are pushing this. But here's the thing: this is not their pushing of it is not morally based. Like if N.W.A was rapping about hearts and flowers and unicorns, and they were making a lot of money rapping about hearts and flowers and unicorns, they'd be pushing hearts and flowers and unicorns. And they would say, you know what? This is what sells, and you need to be rapping about hearts and flowers and unicorns. So, you know, we can talk about original sin, and the fact of the matter is that the source, because the source of the creation were from these men, that they were the source. And again, this was just like, this, we live in a capitalist country, and so you have people who see opportunities to make money, and they're going to make money. And it's not about any sort of moralizing, like they're thinking 12 steps ahead, like I really feel like this is going to be totally destructive to the black community and I want to fund that. They're not, they're not thinking like that. They just want to make money.
Of course, they don't care.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is not, a capitalist system is completely sociopathic. It has no empathy. It has no feelings for anything except for its own benefit.
Right.
So when you think about it in those terms, it didn't matter what the content was. If it was going to sell a lot of records, then it didn't matter what it was.
Right.
And so,
Crystalline Kerosene, whatever, doesn't identify as a feminist. She has defended feminism and traditionalism at the same time, which I don't like is those traditional slash feminists. But for the most part, she's not. One thing I noticed from actual black feminists is that they claim to be what makes them different than white feminists is that they want to destroy white supremacy and all those things, which is confusing because they want to destroy that structure while simultaneously using platforms built by that structure, and also while working for people who might even fit into that category. So I don't understand that. But I've noticed over the last few years, when they claim they want to destroy that, it's not necessarily that which gets destroyed. It's usually black men. In the last few years, we've seen a lot of wealth and money be, deals be broken, not from the structure, but that gives the platform for black men to do what they've done, even if they were innocent or guilty. But the actual black men are losing money. If it was Rick Ross with the "You ain't even know it" line, and he lost a $4 million deal with Reebok because of that one line. And it's not to do with feminism or anything, but if you look at what happened in Tyler Creator, Dr. Voice Walker's led the charge, and getting his deal pulled from Mountain Dew and Lil Wayne and all them boys because of he didn't like the imagery that was inside of that the video with the goat and the prison lineup or whatever. So Tyler the Creator lost a lot of wealth out of that deal. But I'm just saying, like, so because even if I don't agree with something, because there's so many examples of you got Bill Cosby, hasn't been convicted of anything yet. His show is off the air. He's losing his support from historically black colleges that he spent millions of dollars invested into. So I'm saying we've seen black men keep losing wealth and resources, and from doing things or whatever in their personal life, or even if they're guilty or innocent. you don't see the structures or the powers that be above them that give them platforms losing any money. That's why I'm apprehensive of just joining any bandwagon to, co-sign, I'm gonna go boycott this. And you have Kristen Karazine wanting to boycott this movie based on, rape and pillage and the gang culture and all that other stuff. And we can examine that. We can talk about that for a minute. But my only issue though is some of her complaints that she was making in the video. I don't think she's the right person to make those complaints. Period. Right. Another young black lady on my Facebook page. She pro black chick. R&B, green, black, red. Will cuss you out over some interracial relationships, all that. Not a feminist. Argues with them all the time. But she posted an article from a feminist, and she's going into the same, the rape and pillage aspect of one particular song where I guess a 14-year-old girl was being spoken about being raped and all that stuff. And not that it makes it any excuse, but these dudes were 17 and 19 years old when this came out, but that's still. But anyway, she was saying, let's have a discussion about this, rape and pillage, black men not protecting black women because they won't come after these dudes for these lyrics. And at the same time, she's like, but she's sharing a feminist article, but saying don't bring feminism into this conversation. And like the men are like, how can we not when they're the ones coming in here? And they also made the same point that the outrage is selective. Again, like you have a situation like Woody Allen who who's probably having sex with his damn adopted daughter at 16. Then he marries her, and boom, he has a TV show deal, I think with Amazon or something right now. Or the dude from Seven Heaven who admitted to being a pedophile, his show's not off the air yet. So I'm like, the responses from a lot of black men is like, well, it's selective outrage. Like we only keep seeing black men being the ones who lose, or they're getting boycotted or their work is getting shut down. She didn't want to talk about any of that. She just wanted to talk about the rape and pillage in the song. And that reminded me of something that who was it? I forgot his name. Doug Tish's video where he talked about Hollywood has it right, and I'm gonna go deeper into that. I'll probably do a response to that video. But he talks about how in Hollywood, even though we don't control or own the music industry, the distribution, or the labels, or anything like that, it is still a space where black men can, be creative. They can be dark, they can be the hero, they can be whatever they want. But that's the only space that they really can do that in. So that's one of the reasons why also that, I agree with not just jumping on the bandwagon. Because, Edgar Allan Poe was a dark-ass poet, messed up in the head, demented. It's like if we had something like that, it would be like black people would be taken back. For example, Michael Ealy in the new movie, The Perfect Guy, like he's playing a cycle, and a lot of sisters is like, why he gotta be the crazy guy? And I'm like, yo, did you watch him on this season of The Following? And I think there's another movie where he also played that same character, and they were taken back. So I'm like, yeah, I be wanting to take away creative licenses, and we can't venture off into certain things because you're offended by certain things or you don't want to see certain things. I'm like, you got to open up a little bit and think about that. And even though I don't defend these lyrics from what he said, because it was on some rape and pillage stuff, but it's like, Jay-Z said in Monster, I kidnapped women and children and raped the whole village, but he didn't get, any penalty for that. Then, Biggie Smalls, don't you know my nigga gotta kidnap kids, fuck him in the ass, throw him over the bridge, hit him with a pop condom. Like, that's some disgusting ass dark shit. And I can't defend those lyrics, but I'm saying, where do you draw the line between being able to say those things in your music and show you the imagery of the culture in which you're dealing with, and then, or say you can't say that's all rape and pillage. Duke from Game of Thrones had a scene where Cersei's and her brother, it's not bad enough that it's already incest right there. They got 3 kids together, but feminists were outraged. They're fake outrage at he took the box, right? He took it at the father's funeral, and I think it was last season 4. And feminists were outraged, but the writer of the show didn't come out and apologize and saying, I was wrong, rape culture and this and that, the same way Spike Lee did for his She's Gotta Have It, right? Feminists attacked him for the scene where Darla and the one dude who was married, he took the box too, and he was like, I apologize, I didn't know what I was doing, I don't want to put it in there. If he remakes that movie, which I would have loved to see before I know he caved to feminist requirements, he's saying that scene won't be in the movie anymore. So I'm like, again, black men are the ones who keep having to apologize for their creative licenses, whether it's positive or negative, they're the ones keep losing deals and money and wealth because the popular culture or feminism or liberalism doesn't like what they're saying or whatever. So it's like I agree with the young men who were on at her page saying, "Yo, you gotta chill with the selective outrage. We can't just pick and choose when we want to say that's wrong and we don't want to support it and we want to boycott it." And that's what I keep seeing. And like Dietitian said, hip hop or music, rap music or whatever, is one of the only elements where black men they can be the hero, they can be the evil bad guy, they can be whatever they want to be in that world. So to just be critical of it and say, let's boycott, let's take money out of the hands of these actors who none of them were working before this movie for the most part, or at least some of them are new to the field, right? And you want to, leave them without any, they can't express their skills or have a job or do this movie because you want to boycott and protest it. And my thing with Crystal Karazine, though, which I'll get into in a second, my issue with Crystal Karazine being the charge or trying to lead this protest, amongst various reasons, is the fact that she came after rape and pillage and all that aspect first. She couldn't leave that out, but really what she wanted to focus on was, the casting issue as well. And it was like stated that Dre and whoever, Ice Cube, had they picked certain female characters to be promoted and be elevated in the movie. And she's claiming that at first it was the non-black woman, then it was the biracial chick, the Beyonce looking like, that's what she said. And then she said then there's her, like the mammy. She's not overweight, but she's referring to her like that's the way they wanted to promote the dark skin, natural hair or kinky hair girl to look. And I'm like, well, that's it's difficult for you to make those arguments. It's difficult to listen to. Like, you're telling other black women, don't go watch this movie because these black men are not, elevating you and promoting you, and they're calling you bees and hoes. They go with that narrative as well. She did, but when she's hopped the fence already and she has a white man, but it's wrong for Dre and them to promote that in the movie, or she has biracial Beyonce looking mixed kids, but it's wrong for them to elevate women who look like that in that movie. So I'm like, you're trying to get black women, like, you have to be something wrong with you as a black woman to listen to her try to tell you that you shouldn't go see this because of that, when she's hypothetically done the same thing, right? You make a living off of promoting what the flip side of what they've shown you in the movie, right? You make money off of books on hop in, black women deserve better, get your swirl on, all that. That's you. But how can you, in the same space, tell other black women don't go see one movie where black men might be, on some nonsense of promoting, non-black women beauty and biracial women beauty, and not promoting, women who are dark-skinned. You can't go with the argument of they're promoting women who don't look like them when you created children that don't look like you, and then say that you don't care about that. You said when people have called you out, pointed out that your children will not look like you, and the imagery and the beauty that you want to promote, the lack of validation that you're not getting, you're not creating anymore. You say you don't care about that. You don't care what your kids get with. You don't care if your black genes are all gone and all that. So if you don't care about it in your own family bloodline, how could you be the face or the person to try to get black women not to go see this movie? It doesn't make any sense. Visual to the conversation though, like, right? So we know this is what she promotes. This is what, black women do better. Black women, you deserve better. Black men ain't on the level, they can't give you the life or whatever that you want, right? So she promotes this. She profits off of doing this. This is her mission in life. This is her goal, right? She also, like the young lady in this picture, hopped the fence and got with a white dude. And apparently, and I get it, because white men who are with black women are not making a platform or promoting the beauty of black women, it's not enough, right? It's not enough for individual white men to think that black women are just awesome and want to make them wives, which she claims is true. That's not enough, clearly. There's still a lack of promotion, a lack of validation. That's why she's upset, even though she's already gone over there to the other side and embracing, the gated picket fences and the green grass and, the parks, and you ain't got to worry about gunshots, none of that stuff. And she's happy over there. But even though she's over there, it's still not good enough. So she has to come at Dre and Ice Cube and Easy E, who's dead, for not elevating and doing what she thinks they should be doing. I mean, I don't think you can say it's the same thing, but in reality, what she's doing, in my opinion, is kind of worse because I'm saying it's worse because she's over there and she's complaining about things that are happening over here, and I don't understand that, right? So she's cool with these relationships, right? And again, remember her terror thing that she said. She said first you had a non-black woman. She did the same thing. She got a non-black man, right? Then you have the other element with the she said the Beyonce looking, mixed looking girls. They're also promoted. So when these two have a child, right? They're not creating women who look like you or the beauty that you're trying to validate. You're creating women like this. And again, you've already said in your video you don't care what your kids look like. You don't care what happens to the gene pool. You don't care about any of that. So you on your own family, your own bloodline, but you do care about it if black men choose to promote girls who grew up, looking like the mixed Beyonce type and putting them on a pedestal. And apparently, a lot of black women aren't buying it because she's done, like I said, she did one video first. And at first she did the article, got backlash from black women on that. Then she did one YouTube video. Then she did a second article. And then she has like an hour-long Google Hangout with two black women and one white man dude. And that to even go deeper into it. Because she's, trying to hound on like, why are you not joining me in the protest of this movie? And I'm like, you can't talk about this stuff. Like, they can't take you serious. Even they're saying, like, I'm going to see the movie regardless. You're making it difficult for yourself. Again, the title of her first article is, why no self-respecting black woman will go watch Straight Outta Compton. So she's already dishing black women who don't see the world her way, who already are not, team boycott this movie. But just a line or two from what her article, it says N.W.A. glorified gang life. They lived as the lives they lived, and they rapped about. Dr. Dre regularly beat his baby mamas. Eazy-E was so slutty and nasty in his lifestyle, he contributed him to eventually dying of AIDS. This group, no doubt, played on the decks of 6-4s to hype up gangbangers inside right before they killed countless gang members and innocent bystanders, many of them babies and children. So again, she went with the rape and pillage and murder and all that stuff. She also said Suge Knight also was at one time affiliated with N.W.A. I didn't know he had anything to do with this, but by now it's pretty obvious that the man is a stone cold psychopath and in jail for killing a man by running over him twice. The popularity of N.W.A. first was fueled by blacks and influenced by real hip hop groups like the Jungle Brothers, Tribe Called Quest, Q-Tip, Digital Underground, and the list goes on. It has been labeled and has been blended into white suburbia. Oh, and wait, N.W.A. is the reason why pimple-faced white boys who live in gated communities will call your kid the N-word. It does kind of address the fact that, well, she doesn't address it, but white culture definitely they didn't make N.W.A. popular, but they made him profitable. And I'm wondering if will she address that situation too, where, you're criticizing, you're calling black women non-self-respecting for seeing the movie, right? And then you already are against the black men who are defending it, and she does a good job with this acting fake outrage and shaming black men, like she's taking acting classes to do it or whatever. But she's already coming at us. But I'm like, will you charge the young pimply faced white boys who you want to promote your daughter to date, who already told your daughter to go stick with her own kind? Are you going to charge them for watching the movie too? Because most likely, if the movie does well, it's going to be because of them. They're going to go see the movies. And even on Facebook, I noticed them are hyped about the movie, talking about this is real rap, this is real hip hop, not the stuff that's going on right now. So, realistically speaking, the same men you're trying to encourage black women to go run into the arms of are going to be supporting this movie as well. But are they going to be charged with the same thing that you're charging the black men and the black women who are defending the movie, or telling you they're going to go watch it anyways? I do remember the first time like I had an interaction with her, or she responded back to me in a comment. It was on a similar topic of like she was going into the black men using the music videos to not promote dark skinned women, and then in the rap videos using bees and hoes. And I said something to her, but she made one statement. I'm like, I corrected him. Like, she said black men making millions of dollars off of this. And I'm like, black men don't own the labels. They don't own the distribution. They don't, this is not something they own. They utilize it. They work for it, right? I mean, they're an employee basically. They don't own it, right? They're not making all the money off of this. White men are. And she responded with some crazy nonsense. And I'm like, slow down. I'm not on some, Tariq Nasheed, white supremacist every 2 seconds thing. Where, I'm just pointing out, you said that black men are getting rich off of degrading you. And I'm like, they're not. The Jewish and white men who own the record labels are. Now, are you going to address them? And I also said, are you going to address the black women who listen to the same music and shake their butt to it? In the article, the part that I just read, she talked about how Dre, beat his baby mamas and all that, which is possibly true. But yet, how do you tell black men to go defend against a situation like that, where it's like Dre's hitting his woman, go defend that, when Dre himself will have no problem getting women at all? So how does what do you think that's in the mind of a dude like, damn, that's wrong, but he's gonna go put himself in that situation? Meanwhile, women have no problem going over there, even though the man has had a track record of 20 years of being a wife beater or beating up his girls. It's been alleged and known for years that's his issue, and he has no problem getting women. So how do you try to shame men for not going over there to do something about it, or defend it, or call it out, when he has no problem getting the same women you want him to defend? That doesn't make sense to me either. And I guess this is like some of the things I think that, because the one young lady that I did mention, I don't know if I played it in this clip yet, because I'm redoing this video because of my dogs, but she made the similar point on her page about, she said something about, black men not defending and not getting on some of these misogynistic things. And I'm just like, some of this stuff is not going to happen, right? Like some of these things, if the dude is thinking logically, and and he's like, well, that just don't add up. Like, I'm not about to go risk my life or defend you, or defend something where it's not one man is not going to do it by himself. It's going to take a whole community and a whole culture to change minds and say this is unacceptable behavior, and we're going to all do this. But I'm not going to go on some individual stuff and try to fix this by myself and end up dead. And 9 times out of 10, it's like the police officer that goes to the domestic abuse call to defend the female, beat the hell out the dude while his back is turned. The chick is ready to hit him in the head with a frying pan. That's his job to do that. But I'm saying, a lot of young dudes are looking at stuff like this like, wait a minute. And then Crystal Caroline does this good victimization thing where, when her and Sergeant Willie Pete finally went at it about over the picture of her daughter in the video, whatever, she's trying to shame black men for not defending her, when at the same time she promotes hopping the fence and putting down black men at the same time. I'm like, you really trying to do that? Like, you really want to go there and say, how dare you not defend me? All the other black women are looking at you guys not defend me, the queen of swirl, the queen of promoting hopping the fence, and the queen of, black men ain't really about nothing, so just come over here with me and it's safe. Even though I'm not getting the promotion and validation I want and desire over here, so I'm going to attack, some other black men and hopefully make them lose some money and resources because then they're not promoting my beauty and how I look. I'm like, yeah, she's doing too much. You're doing too much. And there's some serious conversations I need to talk about. I'm even talk about the chick from Hunger Games who came out, and I was listening to Diamond Radio, and she was upset. The same thing, like, black men didn't defend the 6-year-old little girl. And I'm like, that's another one of those situations where we might not see it the same way, and it's like, we don't see the point. And what it boils down to, though, is you want it to be defended, but on your terms. And I'm saying a lot of men are rejecting that idea. Like, if I'm going to defend you, you're going to be doing things on my term, under my leadership and under my protection. You're not going to go on the outside of that and then talk about, why aren't you protecting us? Why aren't you defending us? Why aren't you, like Jamila Lemieux in the one HuffPost conversation about the little girl from Hunger Games and her beef with Kylie Jenner about the cornrows. Jamila Lemieux kept saying, twice she said, white women are protected, white girls are protected, but she's a staunch feminist and she hates, patriarchy, and that's what gives them that, ability to be protected and promoted and defended at a moment's notice, like at the drop of a dime, no matter what they do, right? When that football player hit that Becky, he was calling him N-words and throwing drinks in his face and hitting him. People still were like, you know, he could have walked away. Like that's that's the system. We don't got that in our community, right? Y'all gonna be held accountable over here until some type of structure is built. Until that happens, you're not gonna get the same thing. And that's a different video though. But I just don't, between there's the rape and pillage aspect, then there's the creative license part of it, like where it's like, man, I don't know. And like Tisha said, rap is the only place, the only avenue where we get the opportunity to express ourselves and be the hero, be whatever we want. Because in a lot of movies, even when we are the hero, we don't get the girl, we don't get the money, and most often than not, we die. So that's not really nothing to look forward to. But that's my video, I guess. Or I think I gotta upload some more clips to it because I had to redo it from the part of my dogs barking. But I don't know. It's just like, it's fake. She's definitely got some fake outrage, and she's definitely not like got the support I thought she would have, because she's done most of her articles addressing other women because they're not joining her and boycotting the movie. But again, when it comes to the violence and all that stuff, she might have a point. But when she's talking, but a point. Again, I'm still looking at the artistry part. I'm looking at men telling the story of what happened and what they were living in, with the environment that was going around. Everybody has a right to tell their story. And that's one thing she said. She says every story shouldn't be told. For instance, Tyler Perry, Oprah, Lee Daniels, right? All homosexuals in my opinion. But between For Color Girls and what was the other movie? Precious, right? The imagery in those movies paint black men, rape and pillage, horrible. It's not a good look for black men, which is horrible. Dudes is on the down low. Dudes is raping their own daughters, giving them AIDS, giving them retarded babies, and all that. As much as I don't support those type of movies, I don't feel the need to go out and say like I'm about to boycott, Tyler Perry For Color Girls. On my own individual, like I'm not watching something like that. I watched 10 minutes of Precious because I was looking for a clip of her exchange with Monique and her daughter for a video that I didn't upload yet. And I'm like, I can't watch this stuff. It's too much. Like it's just putting us in a very bad light. But I'm not gonna ever tell anybody that they don't deserve to tell the story, right? Every story could and should be told, and it just seems like whenever black men want to tell a story or give a point of view or give things from their side of their view, it gets shut down too quick. Men in general get shut down when they want to tell a story, but specifically black men. Like if they want to give their worldview, their story, this is it's like it has to go through the lens of women or feminists, and we're going to be held to a way higher standard. And then I guess it's because we're at the bottom, it's easy to get it shut down or boycott it or whatever, right? You remember, the movie about the Tuskegee Airmen, the new remake version of it. There was a slight protest against that movie simply because, the men and the women and the men who were overseas in another country were messing with, other women of other races. Saying stuff like that. Like it's too easy for them to come at black men and boycott their stuff and try to get them to apologize or, and a point to the feminists is like, well, where's all the structural racism and the white supremacists losing wealth and resources and money? That's why, again, I can't jump on no bandwagon when it's black women along with white feminists. And then these are topics that, non-feminist black women can look at and be like, it taps them on the shoulder, like, the snake in the garden, like, see, rape and pillage. See the misogyny in the music, rape and pillage, And that's how they can kind of pull them over there. And I'm saying, like, well, we should have discussions on those type of things because, again, there are certain things, though, we just not going to see eye to eye on. And a lot of the brothers was going on our girl page like, yo, we not co-signing you boycotting this movie. And all she's talking about is the one line in a rap song. But this song is about rape and pillage. And it's a 14-year-old girl having sex with these grown men. And I'm like, it's nothing different than Edgar Allan Poe. That's nothing different than what we've seen on the Game of Thrones. Like, come on. It's just when we do it, we're an easy target and we get shut down real quick. I ain't gonna co-sign that. Real quick though, I was watching some of the Google Hangout just now, and And one thing that was hilarious is that like some of the black women who are in the hangout, they were making the same points, some of the same points that I was making. One lady made the point that there was a distinction between like Chris Curzon acknowledged that she was listening to the same music and bopping her head to it too when she was 13 when it came out. So which is like okay, but the other lady stated that at the time this was going on, none of them were thinking about rape and pillage and the violence and that. They were just listening to music, whatever. Now that they're older, they're on some different stuff. But the one lady said that there was a distinction between who was the bitch, who was the hoe, and who was not, who they were talking to or whatever. And Crystal Caroline could have cut her off with that, saying, well, there's no longer a distinction anymore. But the one hilarious thing was a white dude came on, and he said, well, who's making this situation possible? Who's profiting off of this? The white dude came on here and said, who's giving these men a platform to do this? And she response to that was, well, capitalism is, a psychopath. There's no morals involved in it. So if you do something, it's gonna make money. Yeah, they're gonna they're gonna make money off of it. They're gonna invest in it or whatever. But this is after she's already said that this won't happen in white culture. White men won't allow this to happen over there, which is totally not true because, like I said, there's examples of, Game of Thrones is an example where, there's raping, pillage in there. And Eminem's music, this man has talked about raping his own girl, killing his own mom. He's said a bunch of stuff on that same platform and was allowed to do it. The difference is that they don't have to apologize for it. Yes, feminists will come for them the same way that they come for us, but they're not forced to apologize. They're not losing any wealth or any resources. Hell, there's even, the Young Turks kind of defended Eminem with his lyrics about, talking about gay people. At the same time, they've attacked black artists who've used some of the same lyrics. So that's the biggest difference. They're not forced to quit or apologize or, some of them might do things just because it's popular and they can get more attention or they'll get, the culture's change, so it benefits them to do that. That's when you see, 50 Cent is, what did he do? He did something for, a transsexual boy or whatever. Like, he paid for something for that. But this is after he's been accused of millions of times of being homophobic or, anti-gay in his music. But, it was just funny listening to some of the same points, though, in her own Google Hangout with people, where they're making some of the same points that people who comment make on her videos. And her responses to them are not really good. Like her, refutes to what they're saying. Like the white dude said, who's funding all this? Who's making all the money off this? Her response, well, it's capitalism. That's all it is to it. This is after saying, though, this wouldn't happen over there on the other side. So the white men you encourage black women to hop the fence to go be with, they'll make money off of your, as you call it, not being protected and not being defended and being, called bitches and hoes. But you want them to go run, black women to go run into the arms of men who'll do that, and you excuse it by saying it's just, it's just capitalism. That's just the way it is. Get out of here, girl.
I've gotten older as we've grown. Though the younger cats coming up underneath them, they weren't schooled like they should have been. And when they weren't schooled, they just took it and run with it. And now every black woman is a bitch or a hoe. But there used to be a distinction.
There's no distinction.
There's no distinction anymore. There's no distinction at all.
I'm a bitch. I'm a whore. I'm a trick. I'm a bedwench. I mean, I'm a nappy-headed bitch. I've been called all of those things by men who look like me. And it's music like N.W.A. And I say they were the first. They were the pioneers. Like it's not like slavery where all the people who did the most damage are dead. These people are still alive.
Who do you think did the most damage, though? Do you think that they did the most damage, or do you think Two Live Crew did the best damage?
I think N.W.A. came out, Two Live Crew, Too Short, and all of them, they were both, like, that whole West Coast degrading black women. If they were doing a movie on Too Short, I would be saying the same thing. Like, they were the pioneer. Like, West Coast rap is responsible and I will say this, is responsible for the devolving of hip hop, because people started to, the conscious hip hop artists began to get edged out, and
that's because they were intelligent.
Sorry.
But
That's
Hey,
because
Kevin,
they were intelligent.
They were because they were intelligent. They made you think. These fools didn't make you think. They told a story, and when you're telling a story that people find interesting, they're gonna listen. But I mean, Q-Tip and all those other guys from Tribe Called Quest and Farside and all that, they made you sit there and think. I mean, think about it this way: like Common Now and Most Def, that you have to sit there, you have to think about the stuff that they say. You have to think about the rhymes that they use and the language that's used and all that. And they today, like,
Blue Line Crew's from Miami. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin brought that up. Kevin, I just want to really quick, because you're over here